Oh, hi! My name's Jimmy Von Thron, and when I heard that this year's Bachelorette is Rachel, a Dallas lawyer, I knew that I needed to base my video off the greatest fictional lawyer that ever existed, Elle Woods. So for my video application, I'm going to show you all of the Bachelorette why I'm going to make an amazing contestant.
As former captain of my football team, I'm skilled at commanding the attention of a room and discussing very important issues. It has come to my attention that the local gym staff is planning on switching their protein from muscle milk to protein powder. All those opposed to diminished macronutrients, say aye. Aye. And I'm able to recall hundreds of important details at the drop of a hat.
Hey, Jimmy, do you remember what happened in the Cowboys playoff game this year?
Why, yes, Austin, I do. Despite Des Bryant having 9 catches for 132 yards and 2 touchdowns, Aaron Rodgers ripped the hearts out of every Cowboys fan by throwing for 355 yards, including a pass to Jared Cook that defied space and logic. And I'm comfortable using Bachelorette jargon in everyday language. Hey, excuse me.
Oh, what?
Will you accept this rose?
Maybe later.
Are you sure? Okay.
I'm so fly, I'm aligned with the planes. My grind so refined, I got no time for no games. Ask yourself why would I make time for you lames? At all costs, cause I'm a boss. But break them all, yeah, gotta break them all.
Ladies and gentlemen, boys and girls, children of all ages, welcome to Primetime with Alex Stein. I'm your host, Alejandro Stein, and tonight is one of our most important episodes that we've ever done here at Primetime with Alex Stein. We have a very special guest. This person has been super viral for what a lot of people are calling, or skeptical of what's going on, but not me. I've trusted this person the whole time to be truthful, and they've been truthful to me. I want to welcome on the one, the only, one of the most beautiful women on the internet, Josh Seiter. Josh, how are you doing?
Hi. Very good. How are you?
I'm doing okay. I mean, it's always a privilege to be able to speak to a trans person like yourself. I feel like a lot of trans people are unfairly demonized. And, you know, becoming friends with you, it's made me realize that some trans people are actually pretty cool and laid back.
Well, I appreciate that, Alex, and I always try to be the best representation of trans people that I can be, and I always try to be my authentic self and just really be me and be the best version of me. So I really appreciate you. Even if you don't agree with everything that I do, I appreciate you. I can almost say you're a friend.
We are a friend. I'm an ally. But before we start the show, we have to sign this waiver. You need to read it out loud for legal purposes. If you could read it into the camera, we have to have this on camera.
I, Josh Seiter, agree to participate in Primetime with Alex Stein. Assumptions of risk. I understand the show involves inherent risks of bodily injury, including but not limited to burns, bruises, beheading, and accidental knife play that creates a gash you call a mangina. Release of liability. I hereby release and hold harmless Blaze, Alex, and all his producers except Jimmy. He applied to The Bachelorette but didn't get last because he's uglier than Kamala Harris's taint. Promise not to do anything too gay or too straight. Write it right down the middle, figuratively, not literally. That sounds good to me.
Legally, that is binding. And a lot of people don't know, you did graduate from law school, so you're very smart. You know what a legal contract consists of. And then I wanted to, before we even get into the story of Josh, which that is the most important story, but you know, you've met my producer, Jimmy. He's an idiot, right? I mean,
yeah.
He's very dumb. And you see that he did an audition tape for The Bachelor. And Jimmy, you're so bad that they would rather cast a transgender person like Josh than you, because they probably thought that you were more gay than anything Josh has ever done.
Yeah, well, I'm not gay, but...
You're not gay. Well, you did kind of think that you're a lesbian for a little bit.
I figured that out.
I mean, they were more curious about or confused about my gender than Josh's.
How does that make you feel, Jimmy, knowing that there's transgenders out there just doing laps around you online with their content, with their success, with their schooling? You didn't get a postgraduate degree, did you? Did you get a...
I did not. Only undergrad.
Oh, I got a law degree. but okay.
So he's smarter than you. He's more transgender than you. He got on The Bachelor. You didn't. How do you sleep with yourself? Like, how do you sleep at night?
I typically don't, because ever since I found out about Josh Seiter, I've just been looking up, being like, what did I do? Should I have been tried harder to look like a woman, or am I just that pathetic that they said, no, we'd rather take this guy wearing lipstick?
You're that
I
pathetic.
think he's that pathetic.
Yeah, he's that pathetic.
I would agree with that.
So, Josh, what the hell, dude? Everybody thinks this is some sort of big ruse that you're doing. Give the people the honest truth. What is going on in your opinion, Josh? Are you transgender? Are you, what's going on?
Well, I'd love to, but first, I don't want to insult anybody. This makeup's terrible, so I need somebody to come fix it.
Jimmy, come here, Jimmy, right now. Hurry, Jimmy, hurry, run. We have a limited time frame for this episode. Jimmy's gonna, he wipes down everybody, so Jimmy.
He loves wiping men.
He loves wiping men, so look at that, wipe him. Jimmy, wipe him
like you don't like
clean.
it.
Jimmy, make sure he's 100% clean.
Okay, not that rough.
Not that rough, Jimmy. Have you ever used smelling salts, Josh?
No.
Before we start the show, you should probably take a hit of that. This you never do. You've never done smelling salts, Josh. So what's this all about? You're wiping off the makeup.
I have to redo it. This is terrible. Your people did a terrible job.
Okay, don't edit this part out, Jimmy, because the makeup artist is going to stab me if they know that he...
You can get out of here.
Get out of here, Jimmy. Get out of here. You're ruining this. You're ruining it, Jimmy. You ruined this whole damn show. So, Josh, you look a lot different right now. Me looking at you, you seem like you look a lot different. What's that all about?
Well, I have to be honest with everybody. Let me get the last of this.
Get the last of it.
I don't want any makeup on me.
No, we don't want any makeup. This is monumental, dude. This is huge. There's some dry paper towels below if your face is a little wet. I think there's some underneath you. The people want to know what's going on, Josh.
Where's the dry ones?
Right there.
Oh, amazing. I'm glad you guys listened to my instructions.
What did we do? If Jimmy messed it up, did Jimmy mess up? Please, you're allowed to yell at him. You can do anything. As a matter of fact, you're allowed to sue Jimmy if anything goes haywire during this episode.
Yeah, you can.
So, you want to know what's going on?
Yes.
Well, I got to be honest. For the last 5 months, I've been conducting a social experiment online to expose how gullible and how delusional the left is.
We love it, Josh. And now I'm so happy that you came on this program and you're so gracious to fly all the way here from Chicago to come speak with us and talk about how insane the world is that you putting on a woman face, I guess is that the best way to describe it?
Yeah, woman face.
You were accepted by some, you were demonized by most, and now you're saying this was all a ruse, this was a social experiment, and I know you studied sociology. Didn't you major in sociology?
I did, yeah.
So what you did is arguably one of the greatest social experiments of our modern internet age, in my opinion, and that's why I really appreciate you coming on here and talking about the real truth. So this whole time, this has all been a stunt to try to expose the weird ideology of the transgender movement?
Well, I would say any biological man putting on woman face and putting on makeup is pulling a stunt. They are faking being a woman. And so what I did was I faked being a faker. I pretended to be a pretender. We are all the same. We're all men that were putting on makeup and dresses and claiming we were women. And I hope that this could help some people understand that just because you put on dresses and makeup as a man doesn't magically make you a woman.
And I think that's brilliant. So now, Josh, what is next, though? I know you've been kind of brainstorming this. You've been incredibly viral. Should we go to the clips, Jimmy, or should we talk a little bit more? Because I feel like we should...
Well, do you want to play some of his best ones? My personal favorite was SOT 7 because it's kind of something... It was almost an extreme version of what you've done.
Yeah, let's play SOT 7. But this is going to be sad, Josh. This is bad news for me because some of your content is so funny. What are we going to do without this great content? Let's play SOT number 7.
Hey, everyone. So I'm at Target doing some lingerie shopping. Well, I was trying to. And I'm thinking what everyone else is thinking. Where's all the tuck-friendly lingerie at? I feel like all women have a right to feel beautiful and seen when they're trying on clothes, and that just wasn't the case. And I feel like for those of us that were blessed in certain departments, it's especially important that we have clothes that fit our large appendages and that we just feel beautiful. So I hope one day we can have trans-friendly departments everywhere, including maternity and everywhere else, so that our shopping experience is a positive one and we don't have to struggle to fit in. No pun intended. So, my 2 cents for today. Bye, everyone.
And Josh, I love that video because, you know, I put on the tuck-friendly bathing suit at Target and went super viral. Now you're making content at Target. I'd have to say that you and I are like-minded. We realize how easy it is to push these people's buttons and how easy it is to show them how absurd they are. Like, I got well known for doing something called culture jamming, where like you take the most absurd parts of our culture and you jam it in people's faces. And I think you're the best example of that, even more so than me, even more dedicated than me. There's guys like Alex Stranger. There's other people that try to do this culture jamming stuff. But what you did is like you were a method actress, I guess I want to say. You actually stayed in character for months on end, did multiple interviews, went on multiple shows. Literally, I mean, behind closed doors, I'm sure you didn't pretend to be a woman, but you stayed in character in every moment, even when you're just talking to somebody casually. So really, you're an incredible actor, Josh.
Well, thank you. I think any trans person is an incredible actor. They're all pretending to be something they're not. You mentioned showing the absurd. I use reductio ad absurdum, or sometimes called reductio ad absurdum. And it's a form of argument in logic which tries to disprove a proposition by showing that when you take it to its logical end, it leads to absurd and illogical results.
Yeah.
And so that's really what I was doing, was showing that the whole idea of postmodern gender ideology is ridiculous and absurd, and I tried to be the most extreme version of it and take it to its logical end to show how ridiculous it is that people can actually believe that biological men are magically transformed into women because they're having a gender crisis. So I hope I showed how ridiculous and absurd it is.
You did, and then you and I were talking about something on the phone. Is autogynephilia, and that's just when, explain that, because a lot of people don't also realize Josh got his law degree, got his undergrad in sociology and social and what, psychology,
political science,
and political science. So Josh is not a dummy, you know. Even though he's, hello, hi there, you know. I know you act a little fruity, but you're actually a very smart guy. But when it comes to this whole ruse, how did you catch yourself in this predicament? What made you, what set you off and said, you know what, I want to go and try to expose how weird all this transgender ideology stuff is?
Well, you just mentioned autogynephilia, so I'll address that first and then I'll address the second part of your question. Autogynephilia is when men are turned on at the thought of themselves being women. And I think a lot of trans women are turned on at the thought of themselves being women. Guess what? It doesn't magically make them women. It doesn't mean we have to accept that they're women. They are simply men turned on at the thought of themselves being women. That's great. We live in a free country. You can do whatever you want, but don't make your fetish my truth. I don't have to accept it. To go to the second part of your question, how did I come up with this? I was talking with some friends and we said, this is patently false. Men do not magically become women. I said, let's look at the medical literature and what it says. It says that trans people don't have to transition, don't have to have gender dysphoria, don't have to get surgery, and don't have to get hormones. If they feel they are a different gender than their bio-sex, then they are trans and they are valid. And I said, understandably, this is ridiculous. Then I can present exactly how I am, and I can be trans and valid if I say that's my gender identity. And so I said, let me prove how ridiculous this is using reductio ad absurdum by being trans for 5-6 months, and hopefully people will understand then how ridiculous this is.
I definitely understand how ridiculous it is, but before we get into that, we have to pay the bills, as they say, and people ask me, hey, Alex.
Hey, Alex, I forgot to update it from the vice presidential debate. It didn't copy over, so
okay, well,
I'm
I'll just
sorry.
read it exactly the same, because isn't that the second time you've done that in a row, Jimmy? Is this the second time you failed to update it in a row, Jimmy?
I'm not sure.
What would you guess?
Jimmy, are you identifying as a woman today?
No, he's identifying as an idiot. He's identifying as a total idiot. A woman would do Jimmy's job better than him. It's a disrespect to women to compare him to a woman. I would much rather compare him to an animal, like he's a burro, a donkey that you would take to the bottom of the Grand Canyon, but that you'd have to shoot.
Now you see why he wasn't accepted onto The Bachelor.
Exactly, and you would have to shoot Jimmy as the burro because he would be too weak and too dumb and feeble to go back up into the Grand Canyon. So. Do you agree or disagree with
I
that?
can't argue. I did forget to update it.
You should have sit there looking like a guilty dog who shit on the
know.
floor.
I did. I forgot to update it.
People ask me, hey, Alex, how did you make last night's vice presidential debate interesting? Well, let me tell you, I took a shot of Flying Ace's whiskey every time Tim Waltz looked weird. It's time to chart your own course with Flying Ace whiskeys from CraftCo. Inspired by generations of American aviators and proudly made right here in the United States, Flying Ace is not only making amazing whiskeys, they're also committed to supporting our brave troops and their families through their partnership with Folds of Honor. They're providing scholarships to families of America's fallen or disabled. Buy online at flyingacespirits.com and use code America to get free shipping. That's flyingacespirits.com, code America for free shipping. Sorry, Josh. Do we need to do a PureHealth now, a liver health ad? Is this one updated, James?
Well, this one I actually kept because it's a good one.
So that means no. Okay. Many people in the chat have been saying, wow, your guest Steve Baker looks so slim. I didn't know prison food was that healthy. And I say, no, it's actually because we smuggled him in pills called Liver Health Formula. So many of us have a sluggish fatty liver that makes us gain weight and lose energy. For decades now, your liver has helped you with over 500 key functions every single day, like doing journalism or storming the Capitol. It's time you help your liver. There is a solution. It's called Liver Health Formula. It's an all-natural supplement that helps recharge and protect your liver. So if you're looking to ignite your fat-burning metabolism, boost your energy, and transform how you look and feel, try Liver Health Formula and receive a free bottle of blood sugar formula to reduce sugar cravings when you order today. Try Liver Health Formula by going to getliverhelp.com/Alex and claim your free bonus gift. That's getliverhelp.com/Alex.
Alex, can you remind the chat to smash that like button for us?
Yeah, see, I like how Brandon sees you messing up, Jimmy. He sees you just failing miserably, not wiping off Josh's makeup, hurting the guests, not updating any of the ads that these advertisers pay thousands of dollars to get read by me, which is that a good deal? Yes, for them, because we sell billions of dollars in liver health formula, but we're not going to get into the financials of that. My point is, Brandon comes in hot and says, hey, everybody hit that like button, because Brandon knows how to make the show better. Why, Jimmy, you just know how to make our guests feel uncomfortable.
You know what? I'm going to just take the L on this one.
Yeah. Yeah, you will.
Yeah.
And you took a big L watching that. What? Before we get back into you, Josh, what did you think about it? Did you watch his Bachelor tape? What did you put in your Bachelor audition tape?
I didn't do an audition tape. I just did 3 rounds of interviews, so I never submitted a tape.
But you had to send like an email or something.
Yeah, I
so
filled out an application and sent photos.
Even in the application, because I'd never done the Bachelor one, but the Glass House, that was an ABC show. You had to like submit, and what's funny is I made like the stupidest video for me when I got on Glass House. Mine is, my friend had was it the Mitsubishi Spider? You know those 2-door cars?
Yeah, of course.
This is so stupid. I ghost rode it, and I was wearing so the door's open, I'm walking, and we're in a wide street, and I'm just walking towards the camera, and I'm not even driving the car. I'm kind of putting my hand on the steering wheel, and it looked like I was naked because I just had little shorts on.
They like that.
They love nudity. They love nudity, and because the reason why I did that, they're like, we're casting crazy competitive people, and I was like, I'm Primetime 99. I ghost ride the whip naked down the middle of the street. I'm willing to do anything, and I got on the show.
You know who else likes nudity? Drag queens, and they like showcasing it in front of kids.
They do. And that's why it's very important what you're doing. Now, let's go back to you, Josh. People are going to get mad. They're going to say, oh, Josh, you faked it. You broke my heart. I really thought you were trans. What do you say to the people that actually became fans of yours that are going to be upset?
Well, I'm sorry that I had to satirize something to show people the truth. And if their feelings are hurt that men don't magically become women because they slap on lipstick and say they are, I don't know what to tell them. They might want to read a biology book, but the onus isn't on me to explain simple truths to people. And that's why I did this, because it should be a basic truth that men can't magically become women just because they want to. And so if that truth hurts people, I don't know what to say. They can continue to live in a suspended reality. They can continue to engage with their delusions, but it's, all I can do is speak the truth. And if they're hurt by the truth, so what? I don't care.
You sound like Ben Shapiro, facts over feelings. Is that his saying, Jimmy?
Yes, that's Ben Shapiro.
Facts don't care about your feelings.
Facts don't care about your feelings. So anybody that's sad about this, facts don't care about your feelings. Now, speaking of famous people, not just Ben Shapiro, but I want to play SOT 8B. This is Megyn Kelly calling you out, and she was really, really affected by you doing this bit. And I kind of wonder why that is, because Megyn Kelly is on this kind of anti-trans kick. And I guess I didn't expect that from her. I figured she'd be kind of a limousine liberal-ish a little bit because, you know, people that work in Hollywood or New York and you're on sets a lot, you know a lot of gay people. Like you said, I don't necessarily hate trans adults by any means, but I don't like the transgenderism of little kids, you know, trying to put them and confuse them and tell a kid they're born in the wrong body. So I like Megyn Kelly for calling that out, but I was surprised how mad Megyn Kelly got at you for being an adult doing this. So let's play SOT number 8B.
Can we please talk about the Bachelor contestant who now says he's a woman, which we all know on this show is not possible, sir. He is claiming that he's a woman, but some believe it's all a big troll. Okay, he has full body tattoos, which he shows off. He has short hair, like man hair.
Women can have body tattoos.
He has facial hair. Look at this. Look at this guy. It's unbelievable what they can call a woman these days. Josh Seiter, 37, former Bachelorette star. He was on season 11 of the TV show in 2015 from Chicago. And as of this past May, claims he's a transgender woman. If you just substitute fake for trans, you can follow.
I like that.
He's a trans
you
woman,
like
which
Megyn.
means
Now we agree with her 100%.
And he now has revealed
she's
he's not on hormone medication and is unsure if he will get surgery.
Follow the
but
science.
We're supposed to be treating him like he's a woman.
It is so detached from reality and so insane. And I think that's the feature. It's not the bug. It's meant to completely confuse us. It's meant to make us think, I don't even know what's real or what's not real anymore, so I can't say anything. And no, we should keep saying this is insane. It's insane whether he thinks that he really is a woman or if he is trolling to show how insane it is insane.
I think that's a good service.
It's offensive. I keep thinking back, Xavier, to the whole blackface discussion. It's like, okay, everyone always knew, well, not always, but in recent history, everybody always knew that minstrel show blackface was a hard no, very racist. But then some people said, well, you know, putting black makeup on or brown makeup to go out on Halloween, that could be something that's meant to honor somebody that's not as offensive. How is this any different from minstrel show blackface? The whole thing is designed to mock and diminish us. No actual trans person would look like that or behave like that. They do all the time. He's making a mockery of women, and yet we're supposed to sell it. I don't give a shit whether he's trolling or not. I don't think he is, but what do I know? I don't know this person at all.
You fooled Megyn Kelly. How does that make you feel?
Well, she makes some really good points that there's absolutely no difference between trans people doing woman face and people doing blackface at minstrel shows. They're both highly offensive and people should be offended by it, but instead the left celebrates trans women and tries to denigrate anyone who dresses up as Michael Jackson for Halloween. So it's really interesting the hypocrisy she exposes there. She also made a great point when she said, just substitute fake for trans. You know, they deserve our compassion. Lots of trans people are suffering from a diagnosable mental illness, which is gender dysphoria. It's in the DSM-5. And so they deserve our compassion and our help. And that's why I did this, because I'm offended at the medical community and the media that indulges these delusions, eggs it on, and confirms these people's beliefs that they're something they're not, instead of treating them. Instead of giving them hormones, they need help. And especially as pertains to young children, it's even more egregious what they're doing. They're confusing these people, they're exacerbating the gender dysphoria and the situations they find themselves in. And I think that's reprehensible. So I understand and commiserate with Megyn Kelly's outrage. She's absolutely right. The only thing she was wrong about is, like every other trans person, I'm not really a woman.
And you got her. You did, you know, at the end, she's like, well, I don't think he's trolling. So it seemed like she's so brainwashed by thinking that these trans people are just everywhere that she thinks that you're real. I think that was really funny. And I think it is important. You know, you're going to get a lot of, you know, kickback for this, but you had a lot of support too in your DMs. I don't know if you want to leak any names or anything, but you had a lot of people cheering you on during this process.
There's a lot of, famous people and big names, actors, singers, and stuff that messaged me and said, I know what you're doing. You're playing 4D chess. This is brilliant. It's a brilliant troll. You're exposing this stuff for how ridiculous it is. Even had some people that said, you're doing reductio ad absurdum. I applaud you. So lots of people were getting this troll, but a lot of people weren't. And a lot of people genuinely thought I was a trans person, because it's hard to tell the difference, sadly, between comedy and someone who's genuine about being trans.
Yeah.
Because it's comical at a certain point. And so the fact that my outrageous videos were indistinguishable from people who genuinely think they're trans women is an indictment on how ridiculous and absurd it is. And so I just think that's a sad fact. We need to start dealing in reality, and the reality is men don't magically become women because they want to.
Yeah, and you make good points. And I think it was Boston Children's Hospital got exposed for saying that they like to diagnose a kid with gender dysphoria because they become a lifelong patient. So this is, like you brought up, the medical industry. Yep. They love all of this stuff because they can now prescribe hormones, they can prescribe SSRIs, antidepressants, and then they can give them these unnecessary mastectomy or even bottom surgery. So, I think what you're doing is very important, but are you a virtue signaler? Because let's be real. People are going to watch this right now. They're going to say, Josh, now you're coming up with this great story about how this is good for society and how you're exposing everybody. But people are going to say, Josh is just a clout chaser. He just did it for clout. Now it's over. What do you say to those critics that are going to say that you're doing this, not for the social experiment, which I believe that you're doing. That's why I do this stuff. But they're going to say you're doing it for clout. What do you say to those haters?
Well, I can't disabuse anybody of their beliefs about me, and I don't try to. People believe whatever they want. All I can do is try to be authentic when it comes to the points I'm making and the truths I'm speaking. And if people think I'm a clout chaser, I did this for ulterior motives, I would say, why don't you question the men going into women's bathrooms?
Exactly.
Why don't you question the men getting transferred to women's prisons and committing violent rapes and impregnating women prisoners under the guise of being trans women? Why don't you question those people? Because we're dealing with palpable, real harm there. If my satire upsets somebody, I hope the thing I'm satirizing upsets them more.
And why don't people go after these Leah Thomas? And I guess Leah Thomas and Dylan Mulvaney do get a lot of kickback, but why are they more worried about you than the guy that's using the male that's using the restroom with their daughter? Why are they more mad at you than the real life applications where this is happening, where a teacher is trying to tell kids they're born in the wrong body and basically confuse them? Why is it? Is it because you're just easier to bully, or they think you're trolling? Why do you think they come after you instead of actually going after the problems of all this weird indoctrination that's happening?
Yeah, I think anytime you go along with the official narrative, it's easy. And the official narrative is the trans movement is authentic. We should virtue signal towards it, and you can't mock it. And so people want to be loved. They want to be liked. And so they're going to say whatever is going to get them in favor with the people in power. And the media and the left have made it clear that if you go along with the trans movement, they'll love you and you'll be part of their community. Me, on the other hand, I don't want people to love me. I don't need people to love me. I care more about the truth. And so I think there's just a human need to be liked and to curry favor. And I think that's why there's this draw with the left in the woke mob. There's a draw that they have and a power that they have over people because people naturally want to be loved. They don't want to be pariahs. They don't want to be outsiders. So they will do and say anything to curry favor with the media and the left. Me, I don't care if they hate me. I want them to hate me, and I'll debate any of them at any time. I'm happy to.
And I have a good show. We're going to get you on Modern Day Debate. That's actually what you need to be doing next. You need to be doing more debates. That's actually a good idea. And because that's what helped me kind of elevate myself and get new followers. I started doing a lot of debates when I was a really, really small channel. Okay, and people in the chat are getting pissed that I don't have socks on. Why is this so shocking, Jimmy, that I don't have socks on?
You also never wear socks. I don't. This
Shout
isn't
out
a
Feet
new
Finder.
thing.
Can you show those things off?
Yeah,
again?
can you guys give this? What do you rate my feet, Josh?
About a 3.5.
Are they that bad? Why? Because they're fat or because they're
And
just
I haven't
gross?
asked you, are those women's feet or men's feet? Because you haven't identified yourself.
I am a man, dude.
Well, so actually, I have a gift for you.
Okay, I love
Can I
gifts.
give that to you?
Of course, I love gifts, yes.
So I had this made for myself for anyone that was confused, but I want to give it to you because some people may not know your gender if you haven't told them. So I wanted to give you this shirt.
Wow, I'm a man with an arrow pointing down at my...
At your anatomy, which actually matters. Your anatomy actually matters, so.
It does matter. Let's see if I can put this bad boy on. Don't want to mess up my earpiece. Look at this, Jimmy. Now you can tell if you're confused. Now you can tell that I'm a man because... Oh, can you hear my mic or is it
Yeah,
too...
we can hear you.
If you can zoom out a little bit, look, this points right to my wiener area.
Well, now I can tell.
Now you can tell.
Yeah.
And I know the naysayers will say your anatomy doesn't dictate your gender, but we know it does. And we know you have a penis, and we know you're a man.
It dictates a lot. I got a lot going on right here. I almost want to get naked for the crowd. Okay, because this interview is about to get off the rails, Josh, so you've never done smelling salts?
I have not.
Oh! Jimmy, I think they're extra strong from sitting out.
How close do I get to this?
Not that close. Do you have any techno music?
Oh my God.
This is how we party, dude. We're on the blimp. Josh is not trans anymore. Let's celebrate. Where's the vodka? Where's the vodka? Wait, you poured it in that? No, dude. You should have brought the whole bottle. We need a party.
I didn't want to get you too drunk.
No, we're getting drunk. Let's take a shot. Josh is not a girl anymore. Cheers.
Here, you need a little vodka.
Oh my gosh. Let me take a little vodka, mix it with a little bit of smelling salts. This is how we party, guys. Ah! Woo-hoo! This is a great day, Josh. It's a lot to celebrate. Woo! I feel good now. Now we can have a really good episode. Jimmy, what do you think about this episode so far?
I think it's fantastic. I think it's a great time to do another ad read.
Jimmy, did you change the copy?
Did you change the copy on this ad?
Let's just do the ad read.
We have a lot of viewers. If you like this show, you're going to love the merchandise we have for the show. Go to shopblazemedia.com today, and you can check out everything from our Pimp on a Blimp t-shirts and hats to our big booty icon stickers and a whole lot more. And, of course, there's all the other Blaze Media merchandise right there at your fingertips. Everything from the Blaze Heritage and Blaze Media collections, jackets, t-shirts, hoodies, socks, mugs. There's so much there you're going to love. Go to shopblazemedia.com today. Check out my merchandise as well as everything else available from Blaze Media. And be sure you use my code BLIMP10 to get that 10% off your entire order. That's shopblazemedia.com, promo code BLIMP10 for 10% off. Do it today. Okay, Josh. Wait, I was just about to whip something up. So, you and I talked about this. When you were trans, you were a lesbian.
Well, I made a video explaining that because it can be very confusing.
It can
so
be
I tried to
confusing.
clear it up.
But then when I asked you what kind of women you liked, you said you like big booty Latinas.
I do.
This is my favorite big booty Latina, AOC.
She is pretty. Yeah, AOC is beautiful. Is that really her body? Because I have to say that looks photoshopped, Alex.
It does look a little Photoshop, but I like.
I remember that look because that was iconic. That was
iconic.
iconic.
And then look at this. Look at.
Wow, she's pretty.
Sometimes I just.
All right, that's weird though.
Is that weird?
Yeah.
Why?
I got to be honest with you.
I miss you. Call me, unblock me.
How much vodka did you drink?
A lot.
Oh.
I feel fucked up. I feel really messed up. I feel really high.
You know, when I think of AOC, I think of Kamala. And when I think of Kamala, I think of using taxpayer dollars for gender transition surgeries in prison for men who are housed with women. I was wondering what you think of that.
Yeah, I kind of like the idea that men can identify as a woman and go to the women's prison because I break the law every day. And if I go to jail, I'm going to do that. I'm going to do a Josh Seiter. I'm going to say, you know what? I'm a girl now, and I'm going to be banging and prepaid wireless. I got a beautiful girlfriend. That's only if I go to jail. I'm not going to do this unless I get locked up. But if I do get locked up, I'm going to say I'm a woman, and I'm going to blast all of the female inmates. And they're all going to have methamphetamine face and missing teeth and stuff. There's not very many hot women in prison, so don't worry, don't be jealous. Do you think there's any hotties in prison?
Well, it is interesting to joke about, but I think it's a serious issue because there are vulnerable women in places that have historically been safe spaces for women, and they're slowly being erased by the left and the woke mob. And so I think it's interesting that the left, which loves to preach about women's rights and feminism, is slowly erasing women and putting them in compromising positions in bathrooms and prisons. So I was wondering what you think of that.
Yeah, no, it's absolutely disgusting. And it kind of makes me, like you said, the vulnerable women. But this is the other thing. This is what I've noticed too. And Josh, you're not going to act like a Boy Scout. You know, some of these women, you see, I read the news every day. I'm not trying to brag. But more and more, I read all these damn stories where it's like, 32-year-old teacher, hot female teacher, sleeps with a little kid, right? You see all that stories and you're like, what is going on? Some of these women are bigger perverts than the guys. What do you think about that?
Well, yeah, I mean, there's perverts everywhere. And I think we have to be very careful of that. I was homeschooled my whole life. I think homeschooling is a good alternative to public schools. That's one issue that's there, is teachers having inappropriate relationships. You also now have drag shows in public schools and elementary schools. You have drag story hour. So I think there's a lot of reasons now to start homeschooling your kids or putting them in private school. And as a former homeschooled child, I wouldn't be against doing that for my kids.
And Josh, you are very smart. You have all these degrees, but I used to kind of tease homeschooling. I used to think that was like, oh, what? How are you going to play sports? And I realized you can actually play sports if you're homeschooling.
It was hard. It was hard playing.
Yeah, I mean, it is a little harder, but for sure. But I used to make fun of people for homeschooling. But now I would be scared to send my kid to a public school. Jimmy, is your daughter going to go to public schools, or what kind of schools are your daughter going to go to?
You know, we're kind of still having those talks. We live next to a public school that doesn't seem crazy. So.
No, we're putting her to work at the studio.
Yeah, just have her get a job. Why does she need to go to school at all?
That's true.
Did your parents, did you work a job while you're being homeschooled, or were your parents pretty laid back?
Well, I mean, I worked a job when I was 15. I was a busboy. You know, this was like in 2002. But I had jobs my whole life growing up, whether it was lawn mowing, raking leaves, whatever. But my mom was a full-time stay-at-home mom who taught me and my two brothers at home. And we all ended up going on and getting postgraduate degrees. So homeschooling is not a bad alternative, especially now when you see the things people are being taught. There's actually tests now asking kids if a man can become a woman, and just these very loaded questions about gender. And if they answer with the woke answer, they get extra points. And if they write down an answer saying, no, a man cannot be a woman, they get a bad grade. And we've all seen, evidence of this, and we've all seen it happen. And I mean, it's just getting out of control. The public schools are very anti-science, anti-anatomy, anti-biology, and I think it's pathetic and it's a joke, and that's another reason why I would want to homeschool my kids.
No, and you're right. I think it was Austin Independent School District did a pride parade for their children, for the elementary school. I mean, in high school, I still think that's unnecessary, but you could maybe argue, I still think that's wrong, but I could see why maybe that would be semi-okay with an 18-year-old senior. But they're doing it to elementary school kids, giving them pride parades and making them celebrate gay pride, when the only difference between a gay person and a straight person is their sexual preference. And that's what makes me so mad, is that we're celebrating that you like to stick your wiener in the keister. It's not that unique of a thing where you should have a whole month celebrating that. And I'm not anti-gay when I say that. I'm just saying, what are we celebrating? Because people have a different sexual preference?
Well, the left loves to sow seeds of division, and they like to balkanize and divide people. And so it's not surprising that they're always playing identity politics and always trying to separate us based on our race and our sexual orientation and our gender identity. And so I think it's disgusting how low we've sunk now, where the left and the media is constantly talking about these things, to the point that I have to do a social experiment to satirize it. But the left is experts at playing identity politics and constantly talking about people's orientation and gender identity, and I think it's egregious.
It is egregious. Now, let's play this clip of Brett Cooper talking about your transition.
So we have talked about some very weird things on this show, but this might actually be the most wild story that we have ever covered. This story has reality TV, it has drag queens, it has transgenderism, it has divorce and breakups and exotic dancing with potential political scandal and possible satire and possibly also a mental breakdown. So my friends, welcome to the story of Josh Seiter. So Josh, Josh is a Chicago-based mental health advocate. We can all laugh about that later. Just remember that. And he
She
was a
does her
former
research,
contestant on
doesn't she,
Caitlin
Josh?
Bristow's season of The Bachelorette. Now, there are some things that I would love to just openly say about this story, things that YouTube literally prohibits. Hi, YouTube, thank you. So we're gonna be creative, and I'm gonna let you infer some of that. So in place of my immediate comments about this individual, let's just start by watching some of Josh's videos. Here we go.
So I'm seeing a lot of divisive comments trying to pit us against each other. Today I just wanted to talk about unity in our shared experiences as women. Shared experiences like making boss woman moves, motherhood, and just going through things that men wouldn't understand.
Josh, you're gonna lead the way for women, for unity. You're gonna experience motherhood along with all of us, apparently. So yes, everyone, buckle up because you are in for a ride with the story. So that's Josh. Probably not how you remember Josh if you are a fan of The Bachelorette, and probably not how anyone wanted to see Josh.
No,
and
we
yet
wanted to
here
see
we
it.
are.
That was
We're going to
funny. We
see
like
Josh
that.
a lot in this episode, much to the dismay of every woman in his comment section. Somebody said, we literally have 0 shared experiences. Somebody said, motherhood? Okay, Josh, let's talk about your experience in motherhood, starting with conception. We will wait. Somebody else said, this is a social experiment. Another person said, I just had my period. I have to have a mammogram very soon. I had a segmental mastectomy a few years ago on the right breast. Let's talk about it. Somebody else said, this has got to be fake, right? Well, Dakota, based on what we just saw, yes, that is a very, very logical question that a lot of people have.
Brett Cooper knew it was a bit. That's why she's hip and she's Gen Z. What did you think about her statement?
Yeah, so it wasn't shown there, but later she went on and said, I think this might be the most brilliant troll of all time. I think it might have been designed to expose how ridiculous trans ideology is and how ridiculous the left is. So she hit the nail on the head. Tim Pool was another person who said, this is a brilliant troll. I think he's infiltrated the movement.
Speaking of, Wesley, come on set right now. Hurry, you don't have a mic. Come on, hurry. Bring your camera. We also have Wesley. You're going to have to speak into my mic loud. This is Wesley from the Timcast Castle. As you should look at the camera. You know how to be on camera. Yes, I do. And Wesley's behind you. Yeah, but still, Wesley's trailing you. We love Tim Pool. Tim has helped me out and Wesley out a lot. And Tim has been a supporter of yours because he understands that this is important work because it needs to be out there so it can expose how crazy and dumb this stupid ideology is. So I just want to give a shout out to Wes. Wes is putting in the hard work, and Tim Pool for making this happen and giving you a platform. So shout out Timcast, shout out Wes. Go to castbrew.com. You can get out of here. No, is it not a surprise? Okay, well, shit.
You ruined the surprise.
Is it supposed to be a surprise?
Yeah, I don't know.
Oh, gosh. Okay, Wesley, you should have told me that. Well, whatever. Hopefully it'll be good, though. It'll get millions of hits on Tim's channel. What I'm saying is you've had people like Tim that notice it. Let's be honest, I noticed it pretty early because I put on the tug-friendly bathing suit. And that's why you and I are a lot alike, because I've been on the reality shows. I know what it's like, and I know what it's like to have a dream and realizing that it's the most important thing in your life is to achieve that dream, and you're willing to be embarrassed. You're willing to risk your reputation. You're willing to be broke. You're willing to do anything, and I know what that's like, and that's why I respect you, because you actually did the hardest thing possible, saying that you're a woman when you're obviously not, and you went and you stayed in character. So that's why I respect it, and I'm happy that people like Tim and Brett and not patting myself on the back, notice that you're actually doing something that is important and not just some autogynephilia, sexual, gender dysphoria, weird thing.
Well, someone has to defend the truth, I feel like, and it's so scary. It's a scarce commodity now to find people defending basic rudimentary truths like men can't magically become women. And so I feel like someone had to do it, and I appreciate everyone that's supported me. And I've earned a lot of invective and a lot of hate and vitriol because of it, but I'm fine with that because I would rather be on the right side of truth than be loved in virtue signal and be adored by the left. I don't want the adoration of the left. I don't want the adoration of people that buy into delusions. I'm a mental health advocate, as Brett Cooper mentioned. I've been advocating online for over 8 years. I'm also a sociologist by training, and that's why I'm so passionate about this, because there are people that deserve our compassion and our help that are struggling and going through crises, and what they need is someone who actually understands them and talks to them and gives them love, and not someone that feeds them lies for profit and to be loved. And I think it's despicable what the medical community is doing, and I think it's despicable what the media is doing. These people deserve our love and compassion and our help, and they're not getting it. Society has failed them, and they need to start getting it. We don't tell anorexic people, you're fat at 80 pounds. We don't entertain their delusion. We don't tell schizophrenic people, yes, the CIA is hiding in your bushes.
Well, they are hiding in their bushes.
Why do we tell people with gender dysphoria, yes, you are correct. Your delusions are correct. They need treatment, just like people with anorexia, just like people with schizophrenia, just like people with depression and anxiety, like I and millions of other people have. And that's why I'm so passionate about it, because it makes me sick to watch these people get lied to so that the medical community can curry favor with the woke mob.
And I think that was a brilliant analogy by saying that you wouldn't tell an anorexic person that they're fat and that they need to keep on hurting themselves. Right. You would stop them immediately, and you wouldn't tell an obese person that they're skinny. You know, I mean, you might say you look okay, but you're not going to tell them that they're anorexic and keep eating like you're, you know.
With body positivity, they're starting to do that.
They are starting to do that a little bit with body positivity, but it's still kind of weird how I guess society would rather us be sick, whether it's mentally or physically. They just want you to be sick. Now, my producer, Jimmy, and Morgan, I see you in the chat. Morgan called me out. I'm terrible at keeping secrets. I suck. I'm not good at keeping secrets. That's why I'm so happy to have you on, because I couldn't keep the secret much longer. But one of your critics, I have to bring him up, is Jimmy, the guy that couldn't get on The Bachelor. Jimmy, what did you want to say?
Well, I absolutely agree with what you just said. Your rant, anorexia. I 100% agree. I guess I'm thinking more of the extremes you went to this. You've essentially been Miss Doubtfire for the last 5 months. I mean, are you worried about how that's going to affect you in the future? Like, what about your family? How have you had a job? Are you going to get a job? I'm just thinking about all the external factors you've gone because you've been so committed to this bit.
I think that's fair.
Yeah, so I've done very well for myself. I've invested my money in indexed ETFs, which passively track different indexes, whether it's the S&P 500, small cap, big cap. So my money is invested in compounding every day, and I'm doing very well for myself. I don't need to curry favor with an employer or with the media or with anybody else. So I'm not concerned about the truth hurting people. I don't care if someone finds the truth offensive. It doesn't make it offensive, and it doesn't make it wrong. And so I make no apologies for the extremes I went to. If I have to satirize something for people to understand something very basic, then I'm going to do it. And I don't care if it upsets people. That's their problem, not mine.
Well, what about your family? Like, do you have a close relationship with them?
Yes, he does, Jimmy. His family's very supportive of him. But like, his father passed away recently. Are you trying to bring that up?
Well, no, I mean, I'm just genuinely...
I lost my mother, I think, the same year that he lost his father. So now you're trying to bring up a source. Both of Jimmy's parents are alive. Jimmy loves
but like you probably have
people.
other...
Jimmy's like, both my parents are alive. My mom helped me this morning tie my shoes on the way to work. Jimmy's like, you love having two parents, Jimmy. We get it. You got two parents, okay? You're so worried about your damn family.
Well,
what is your daughter going to say when you named her after a woman that had a public freak out on a plane? What about that? What about that family, Jimmy?
I mean, that's pretty badass if you ask me. But like, I mean, I have extended family who is horrified that I post my stand-up comedy bombs. I'm just trying to think if I did a stunt like this.
I guess it's a fair question. Have you got any kickback from your family?
My family's awesome. The people I'm close to, and the people I'm not.
Did you tell them that this was a kind of a bit, or how did you explain? Because they had to be like, Josh, what the hell are you doing when you had a video get millions of views? I mean, they probably noticed pretty quickly.
Yeah, we don't really talk about that stuff. I'm very close with my uncles and very close with my mother and one of my brothers. And so, yeah, I mean, they just love me unconditionally, and I love them. And, you know, me telling the truth, again, if it offends somebody, you know, it sucks for them that the truth offends them, but I don't know what to tell them. Maybe they should get therapy.
Well, you're right, but see, Josh, it's funny because when I first started going to city council meetings, I started acting a fool. My dad literally sat me down. I remember he sat me down. He's like, Alex, you need to stop doing this. This is insane. You're going to get in trouble. He was really worried about me getting in like legal trouble. And then, you know, 6 months later, these videos are getting millions of views. My dad was wrong. And he'll actually admit, he'll say, oh, well, that was not the best advice. So, you know, it had to be tough, though. And I'm sure your family probably is the same. Like, what is this? How is this going to work out? I'm sure that had to be man to man, that probably had to be kind of tough dealing with your mom, because I remember it was tough dealing with my dad. But it sounds like they were supportive to this whole thing. But did you tell her, I guess my question is, did you tell her, hey, I'm doing a social experiment, chill, it's all going to get revealed soon? Or did you stay in character with them?
Well, I think the premise of your question is that everyone disagrees with the truth. And some people see the truth and some people acknowledge it. I think there's a silent majority in the country, just like there was a long time ago with Nixon and even Reagan. There's a lot of people that understand that what I'm saying is true. They're just scared to speak up, and they're the silent majority. And so I hope that I wake those people up. And I think there's a lot of people that don't explicitly or overtly say it, but they agree with what I'm saying. And so you're assuming that people right off the bat disagree with what I'm saying or with the experiment that I'm doing, but not everyone does. A lot of people have confided in me that they think what I'm doing is great and they support it, but I'm not going to speak about my family. No,
that's fair. Yeah, you don't have to get too deep. I think, that's an interesting, relationship. But let's get into somebody that did give you some heat. Sought number 8, Buck Angel. Now, Buck Angel was famous for being a transgender porn star. And Buck Angel was
a woman pretending to be a man.
Woman pretending to be a man that had a vagina but had all the features of a man. And he used to go on the Howard Stern show, and he looked so bizarre because he was a man, but then they had a vagina. I mean, I've never seen their vagina, but it gets
confusing.
It does get confusing. So let's see.
I met Buck in person. It's an odd experience.
Yeah, you had Buck on the show. Yeah, wow. So you and Buck are close.
Face to face, you go, huh? And then you hear Buck talk, and you go, oh.
Well, let's hear Buck talk on Sought number 8, D.
I held off, again, I've been holding off a lot on these, what I call grifter posers.
That's a gay man.
They're not trans, but I've been holding off.
Or that's a gay woman. Yeah, gosh, it gets so confusing.
But I don't have a choice now. It just has to be done. They are destroying everything we've worked for, and they're making a fool out of all of us.
He's a trampa?
So
how can you be a
when
trampa?
When you start doing that, it's game on, friend. So now I'm going to have to push back on you a little bit.
Must have.
Everyone's questioning whether or not this person is actually trans. Now, to answer that question from an actual transsexual person,
an actual
I would
transsexual,
say no. In my opinion,
faker.
no, I do not believe this person is trans. But in the new definition of what trans is, maybe they're trans, because that definition is not what I am. It's a different definition, and these people are all about self-IDing, and anyone can be trans. And here is the disaster that comes from anyone can be trans,
from your community,
and you don't need a diagnosis, and everyone can do it.
On me.
So why I'm saying that is because this is why that is dangerous and why it does not reflect what an actual real transsexual person is.
A real pretender.
I know. Can you believe that? That he thinks it's more dangerous for you to lampoon the transgender community than it is to actually be a real transgender that wants to get a mastectomy or cut off their genitals.
A real transgender is actually a misnomer, right? For people that claim to have a hold on the science, they're horrible at lexicology and etymology. And they use these semantical games to try to confuse people. And they're always changing the meaning of words and things like that. And so he doesn't even understand that it's his own community that has set these rules, and I'm just playing within the limits of those rules. So if he's upset, he should be upset at the nebulous framework of medical guidelines that have come out when it pertains to transgender individuals, and he should be mad at the medical community for making it possible for anybody to say they're trans. If he's mad at someone, be mad at the science, not me.
Now, there's a lot of celebrities. I think the number one, let's play full screen 6 through 8. Dylan Mulvaney went just lightning in a bottle viral for basically doing the same thing you did, woman face. Obviously, I think they are faking it, but I guess they're even more dedicated than you. They get all this weird, they did all their weird facial reconstructive surgery and this and that. But was Dylan Mulvaney an inspiration for this bit, or were you trying to call out Dylan Mulvaney, who's being incredibly well received by all the weird leftists?
Well, I think they're one and the same, right? They're not mutually exclusive. I was both following her lead and calling her out. And so I did exactly the same approach as Dylan Mulvaney. Over the top, it's very insulting to women to say we have shared experiences. We have no shared experiences. Trans women don't have shared experiences with real biological women. So a lot of the things I said parroted what Dylan Mulvaney said. The difference between me and Dylan Mulvaney is she's liberal and I've always had libertarian views. And so liberals love her because she follows the official narrative, but they didn't always love me because they know I hold some libertarian views. And so Dylan Mulvaney is just a great example that you can erase women, be disrespectful towards women, set back the feminist movement 60 years, and the woke mob will still celebrate you because you're toting the official narrative. And I think what she did is absolutely terrible for women, it's terrible for humanity, and it's making a mockery of women. And the fact that she's celebrated by the media is disgusting.
It is, and even in Dylan Mulvaney's song, they're like, on Tuesday I take my antidepressant, Thursday I shop. Like basically, saying a woman, all they do is take pills and shop. I mean, it's just the worst caricature of a woman possible.
Wait, I got to interrupt. Josh, why do you call Dylan Mulvaney a she?
Yeah, I know. I was noticing that too.
Well, it's a man and woman face, but for simplicity's sake, I just say she.
I think it's simpler to call Dylan Mulvaney a man because Dylan Mulvaney's a man.
Yeah, you could. I'm not a word
Let's
Nazi.
not argue semantics. We only have a few more
seriously, because if he's going to do these extreme, but you won't even misgender Dylan Mulvaney, I think that's a fair
We don't
point.
misgender on this show because we're on YouTube anyway.
Okay, fine.
Jimmy's so smart. He never heard of terms of service. No, we only have a few more minutes. Now, what do you think about Megan Fox, full screen 10? Megan Fox has 3 transgender children. You studied this in sociology, nature versus nurture. There's nothing nature about this. This is their nurture to be like this. She is molding them to be transgender. So this is why it's great. What you're doing is hopefully some of these kids will realize how absurd it is. Now, what do you think about a famous celebrity having 3 trans kids, which is, what do you say?
So the statistical probability of anyone having more than one trans or non-binary gender fluid child is astronomically, infinitesimally small. So for her to have 3 trans kids, she is either extremely unlucky or she's a liar and a groomer and disingenuous. And I would argue it's the latter.
Megyn, you are a groomer. Not Megyn Kelly, Megan Fox. Now, let's play SOT 9. Kamala Harris running for president, the current vice president. She got called to the carpet. Now, she said she didn't want to give people state-funded sex changes, but then we have her on tape saying just this. Let's play SOT number.
Kamala supports taxpayer-funded sex changes for prisoners.
Surgery.
For prisoners.
For prisoners. Every transgender inmate in the prison system would have access.
Hell no, I don't want my taxpayer dollars going to that.
Kamala supports transgender sex changes in jail with our money.
Kamala even supports letting biological men compete against our girls in their sports. Kamala is for they, them. President Trump is for you.
I'm Donald J. Trump, and I approve this message.
Now, this is what we're fighting against, is that we don't want our taxpaying dollars that we pay. I pay a lot now, and I don't want that money being used to cut off men's penises in prison. I mean, is that too much to ask for, Josh?
I think that money would be better spent going to mental health services. Again, these people deserve our compassion and our love, and they deserve real help. And a lot of things have been cut. Extracurricular activities in schools have been cut. Funding for the arts have been cut. Mental health services have been cut in recent years. That money would be better spent going towards those things that can make real pragmatic change in people's lives, rather than going to a virtue signaling cause like paying for gender transition surgeries for men in women's prisons. So I think it's just a talking point on her part. I think it's egregious, and I think that money could be better spent on other things, and I think most sensible Americans agree with me.
They do, and I just want to applaud you, Josh. I know I've been kissing your ass all episode, but thank you so much. I put on the tuck-friendly bathing suit to make a point, and I think I made a point, but you made a much bigger point. So I just want to applaud you. I mean this, for actually doing this crazy thing. You are one of the best performance artists of all time. Better than, Andy Kaufman's the best, but there's a lot of other performance artists. Marina Abramovich, she worships Satan. I don't want to even get into that. My point is, you are a true artist, and I applaud you. So the people want to know, what is next for Josh? We don't want you to go and hide. I think you need to continue trying to call out this weird agenda. So what's next, Josh?
Yeah, I'd love to, debate anyone, anywhere, at any time about anything related to this or anything else political. I hope to go on podcasts and shows and just talk about things that matter. And I think we should always spread kindness and lead with kindness and compassion. And that's always been my life's work and my goal. And if I had to satirize something to get to that point, so be it. But I hope to have many rigorous, robust debates with people in the future about these topics.
And we are going to get you on debates. Jimmy, remember I got you on Modern Day Debate and they haven't had you back? Is that because you did so bad?
Apparently.
Has he even reached out to have you back?
He actually has not.
Well, I am a debate lord myself. Not a lord, there's only one, but debate bro is what they're called. I think you need to start debating. I think that would be big.
I'd love to, yeah.
Do you have a YouTube channel yet?
I don't have a YouTube. I have the Instagram.
I know your Instagram's huge. Everybody needs to go follow it. We got the link in the description. Everyone needs to go follow you on Twitter as well. We're going to share this. But you need to make a YouTube page because I'm going to start getting you on the debate circuit. I think that's where you really will shine because, Josh, a lot of these people think, oh, he's just some Bachelorette, reality TV. They don't realize you went to real school. You got a law degree. You know what you're talking about. And I think that you would be very good at defending or at least, combating some of these stupid arguments like giving prisoners free transition surgery, cutting off their genitals. We need to be debating those things, and I think that you would be a great person to do that.
Well, thank you. Yeah, I think these are topics that need to be discussed. We need to bring back civic debate and civic dialogue, and it's okay to disagree. It's okay to have a difference of opinion on things, and I'm happy to have a difference of opinion on things with other people and debate anyone about anything. So.
Great work. All right, one more time, round of applause. Jimmy, are you clapping? Jimmy was being a hater. Jimmy, yeah, clap. You did a terrible job with the makeup and everything. I just want to shout out before we go, we had a new director, Steven. What would you rate Steven? I think he did pretty good.
10 out of 10.
10 out of 10, really?
Yeah. Yeah, he's
the
boss.
I don't know. 10 out of 10. I mean, Steven is probably the best at his job, but the fact that
all the directors here are wonderful.
They are, but Steven's the top director, so we need to be the nicest to him. But I'm really kind of mad that Steven wasn't giving you any mean looks. I've been looking at him the whole episode, and he's been hyper-focused. And
he did it off camera.
When Brandon was laughing and everybody's joining in, Steven was a little too serious. So if I'd want to dock Steven a little bit, I like it when George interacts and thumbs down. I just would have liked a little more.
So when he's mean to me.
Yes, exactly right. I would have liked to have seen Steven a little meaner to you. But other than that, he did a great job. Thank you. We really appreciate you.
And also, do you
in.
have Lenny's shirts?
Oh, yes. Right before we go. Guys, we love Lenny. We got a new tee coming out. We're going to try to get this on the shop. We got to do a little paperwork. You know how it is. But look at that pimp on a blimp, like Pimp My Ride. This Lenny Designs. Go follow Lenny Frost on Twitter, and hopefully we can put this in the shop, soonish. Josh, anything you want to say before we go? Where can people find you and support you?
Josh Seiter Official on Instagram, and spread love and kindness, and just be open to the truth, even if it doesn't curry favor.
And what is that? They say the truth is like a lion. You don't need to defend it. You just let it free, and it can defend itself. Is that the right saying?
Yep.
Did you say that on a podcast that you and I together recently?
That sounds like something John Stuart Mill would say, but it's very libertarian, and I agree with it.
All right, guys, we end the show the same way. Every time with that freestyle finale, DJ, hit that beat. Yo, yo, yo. Josh is sitting on a chair, and he's got no underwear. He is a man. This was his plan. And he is a Texan, because he's in Texas, driving that Lexus. And he can't outflex us, because he's got a wiener in those pants. And he likes to do a freaking little dance. He was lying. Y'all were denying. Now these guys really flying. Tim, Pool, Prime Time, Megyn, Kelly, Brett Cooper, all talking about Josh Seiter. What can you say? No, he's not gay. He's heterosexual, and he likes to bang ladies in their vaginas. So all of you haters that called him gay are liars. All right, we love you, Josh. Make sure to hit the like button, the subscribe button. I'm going to be gone Wednesday and Thursday, but be on the lookout. I will be going live from Miami, and potentially I'll be going live from Mar-a-Lago. Thank you, Josh. You rule. This is the man with a plan. Hit that like button, hit that subscribe button. Peace. Good night.